Future Talk.
This is Future Talk
with Omnia Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a blessed day, enjoying the weather outside. It is March again. I'm going to keep highlighting March until we're in mid-March because March is a very important month for people living right here in the UAE. A year ago, it was the beginning of the lockdown vibes.
The beginning of the end.
Yes. Now is the beginning of the end,
yes,
with the vaccine being available and people starting to take in all those jabs. Hani today took in his second jab. 3 weeks from today, you will have an 86% immunity.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, again, this is a blessing from God and a blessing from the UAE that I had the chance to get the second dose of vaccine very quick. I did it at the Sharjah Expo Center. I came in, gave my ID, gave the card, boom, boom, bam, you're out of there.
You're done.
So me and Gabi, who is our videographer, we went in very easy and very quick. So again, big thank you to the UAE government, big thank you to the Sharjah government for making all of this process a lot easier.
Yes, indeed. But we still have to take all the precautionary measures. You're listening to Future Talk. This is the one and only place where we give you a quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE and around the world. Big news is happening right here in the UAE because we're going to be talking about a smart key initiative that will start monitoring taxi services. So taxi riders and taxi drivers will definitely be under a controlling eye, but that's only to maintain all their safety precautions.
Yes, and we have news about Facebook. Now, we haven't talked about Facebook in a good minute now right here on the show, but Facebook is looking at facial recognition technology for upcoming smart glasses. Could you believe it or not? Now, we've kind of talked and kind of made a thesis, Omni and I, about how Facebook is trying to become one of those tech giants like Amazon and Apple, but in a kind of different but not discreet way.
Yes, indeed. Coming up on the show as well, we have rumors and reports about the coming up iPhone 13. And rumor has it they may just offer 1 terabyte of storage. I mean, I don't see why someone would need 1 terabyte, but to each their own, I guess.
I mean, mostly, I think I would need 1 terabyte because sometimes I would delete things just because I want to save space for later. But every time we say rumor has it, I remember Afternoon Karak.
Yeah, same.
And it's like, rumor has it, ooh. I mean, it's such a nice and kind of
catchy bed. Yes.
But we're going to be talking about why we're experiencing Zoom fatigue. And we're going to be telling you guys on how to fix it. And that will be in our How Do You Tech segment.
This is a very, very interesting topic that we're discussing today. We all use Zoom. We've all been depending on Zoom to have our meetings, whether it was for work or whether it was for class. But Zoom fatigue is a real deal, and it can actually cause us to feel burnt out and overwhelmed at times. How do we fix it? This is all and much more is going to be coming up on the show, as well as a new technology that is allowing us to animate old photos using the Deepfake technology.
I've been seeing it being used a lot on social media, and it's quite funny.
Did you see the Tom Cruise
I saw it.
Deepfake video?
and there was one with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Hey, man, it's Snoop here. It was so funny, man. But we're going to get into that and a lot more right here on the show. So keep Pulse 95 locked because, ladies and gentlemen, this girl isn't on fire, but Pulse is on fire, or Future Talk is on fire, but Alicia Keys, this girl is on fire.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
She's just a girl and she's on fire. Man, I love that song. I love that song. But you know what else I love? How we're talking about how Ras Al Khaimah is launching a smart key initiative, which is going to be for better monitoring of taxi services. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Ras Al Khaimah, as part of its participation in the UAE Innovates 2021 initiative, the Ras Al Khaimah Transport Authority, or what we call RACTA, has launched the Smart Key Initiative, and this is an innovative application that uses AI in tightening control over the operational system and the preservation of assets through intelligent taxi operation feature.
In simpler terms, that basically means that now whenever you're riding in a taxi, the driver's information are completely being mapped out at all times. So their facial features, as well as identifying them every 15 minutes, will be taking place through this intelligent AI system. Now, the application is actually linked to a smart camera system that works on the driver ID, just like we've mentioned, every 15 minutes to make sure that the driver's identity is being confirmed throughout the vehicle's operation period. But there's also a feature that is linked to a smart meter. So the meter can actually be opened and closed automatically when the driver's shift ends and starts at each and every ride.
On each and every interval. I like it. Now, it is worth noting that this technology actually does contribute to enhancing the operational process and even ensuring the presence of vehicles in the Emirate by tracking taxi drivers' working hours. It also does contribute towards evaluating the performance and development of all of this. Now, I do think it is a huge thing to we know there's a lot of taxis in the UAE.
Yes.
And most of everyone uses taxis, especially tourists, as we do know the UAE is big on tourism.
Mm-hmm.
So having to track these taxis, know where they're going, mapping it out, and making it as a smart initiative, especially with the use of AI, is very important in my opinion. And I give a hats off to the Ras Al Khaimah Authority, the Transport Authority.
Absolutely, especially because right here in the UAE, we always know it is one of the safest countries in the world. And children ride in taxis, teenagers ride in taxis. And I remember being a kid and my mom used to get worried whenever I'm riding in a taxi, wanting to make sure that everything is fine, that I know exactly who the driver is, and I inform her who the driver is. But with such technology, the driver is being mapped out every 15 minutes. So there is no way of him, getting out of the car and someone else coming back in or any fishy movements to take place.
And also, Omnia, what we could also consider, let's say if you lose something you lose your phone, for example, or lose something valuable in that taxi, obviously you can call the Transport Authority like, hey, I was in taxi 123. Well, that number is wrong. Well, I was in this area at this time. Could you check which taxi was in that area?
Yeah.
And they'll see if anyone forgot their phone.
And the camera system within the taxi could actually pick up if there are any lost items.
And Omnia, sometimes I remember, I don't know how often this happens, but sometimes people would say, for example, they'd order a taxi and they'll say, hey, here's some items that I need to be transferred to this certain area. Can you transfer it and I'll pay you the fee? Like, yeah, sure, no problem. So imagine now your valuables are being transported safely as well. So I do think it's a win-win situation, all standards, especially because now, we're incorporating smart technology everywhere. Why not in transport that is used every day?
And we've seen global companies actually implement this. Amazon recently introduced the smart AI system to their drivers' delivery vans, since we used to hear a lot about incidents and instances where packages used to get lost. Drivers used to open up packages, and Hani actually had an experience with one driver.
I got a driver did opened a package of mine, and I did actually complain, or not complain, I just raised awareness to Amazon just in case. Again, I didn't want to get the guy in trouble because mistakes happen and no one is perfect, but at the same time, my items weren't valuable, but what if someone's items was valuable?
Exactly. So it's nice to see the UAE implementing one of the biggest technologies that are being implemented at global companies. Let us know your thoughts. Our text lines are open for 215 Dur Itisalat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Coming up, we're talking all about Facebook looking at facial recognition technology to become a part of its brand new AR glasses.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you how to be lonely with Rita Ora.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Smart glasses, oh smart glasses. We've seen a lot of social media giants as well as tech giants working on augmented reality glasses as well as smart glasses. However, Facebook is looking to be a little bit more unique, since they are considering facial recognition technology to become a part of those smart glasses. These are not rumors, these are coming straight out of an executive's mouth who is a part of Facebook as well. So the head of hardware did confirm that the report of the company considering facial recognition technology for its upcoming smart glasses is actually true.
Yeah, and they're looking at it, pun intended, with these smart glasses. Now, they did confirm that a report in a video posted on his Instagram account Thursday evening during a Q&A session with his followers. And when asked if Facebook is considering offering facial recognition on its smart glass procedures, he said, we're looking at it. Now, he also did add that it is really a debate we need to have with the public. If people don't want this technology, we don't have to supply it. The product is going to be fine either way. There are some nice use cases out there if it's something people are comfortable with. Now, these comments just come after a report that the hardware executive did say that Facebook was weighing the legal implications of such technology during an internal company meeting.
Now, this is very important to mention, since they are, at the end of the day, awaiting users' consent regarding implementing this technology. It won't be something that people have to use, but rather a feature that people can opt in or opt out of. And this is important since we do know that facial recognition technology can have a lot of ethical concerns. It can sometimes even be abused by users, and we've seen always on cameras, we've seen face recognition, we've seen microphones be abused over the past few years, and especially when we're talking about marginalized communities, and authorities can be a little bit worried about implementing such technologies. However, Facebook is still weighing the implications, as you've mentioned, Hani, and trying to see if this would be a good option to go for.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Apple as well trying to dive into that smart glass industry. Same thing with Samsung, and I do believe it's coming to become a more of a futuristic idea that we are going to be implicating on our daily lives, because obviously it makes sense to a lot of people, as we do have smartwatches, we have smart bands, we have smart everything. I mean, we just had smart taxis, right? So why not have something smart on your face, give you that more futuristic feel? I mean, I believe a couple of months ago, Omni and I were also talking about the smart windshield as well that could be placed in your car. You can have a Zoom meeting in your car and have a camera and everything. So I'm looking at how Facebook is trying to kind of dominate all sectors of the technology area when it does come to the smart aspect per se.
Exactly. And in one Q&A that one of Instagram's founders was actually having a conversation, and they did mention that Facebook is on track to release the smart glasses that they're partnering with Ray-Bans for, and that is supposed to come out sometime in this year. So we're definitely seeing live demos coming out of Instagram and Facebook to give us the sight of the future.
I mean, Ray-Bans are stylish. They've always been the kind of trademark when we talk about sunglasses. So they should look stylish and cool. Let us know your guys' thoughts though. 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Would you wear smart glasses that look like Ray-Bans that are coming out of Facebook?
Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about reports regarding iPhone 13. Speculations that it will have a 1 terabyte storage. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
iCloud failed to update. Not enough storage. Update now. Pay 50 dirhams to get 1 terabyte of storage.
1 terabyte? I wish.
Storage on the cloud.
1 gigabyte, probably.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, that is no longer an issue. Or the rumor is that is no longer an issue, because the iPhone 13 is going to offer a 1 terabyte storage option, and Omnia is baffled because she's like, what do people need with 1 terabyte?
Yes, because I had the iPhone XS Max. It had 512 gigabytes.
I don't know how much mine is. I forgot.
You should check. But my old one had the 512, and when I came to give it to my younger brother, I barely used 200 gigabytes. It was very empty. So I'm like, that's why when I got the iPhone 12, I didn't get the maximum memory. What about you? Do you have the 256?
Interesting. 256. I only have 44 gigs left.
What in the world did you
ladies and gentlemen, you
use?
should have saw Omnia's reaction. My reaction was the same.
What do you have on your phone?
I didn't expect me to have only 44 gigs left. So
do you have music like Apple? Music?
Actually, I stopped using Apple Music and I went to Spotify.
How many photos do you have on your phone?
I have. Let me check real quick.
I have about over 2,000, and it's
cute. I have 40,000. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can see her face right now, 40,000 photos.
You have how many?
40,000 photos.
And I was looking at my 2,000. I'm like, I should maybe clean them up.
Maybe 18,000 of them are me flexing.
Oh my, 40,000
yes,
photos.
And that's with me deleting pictures that I just... But the thing is, Omnia, that
you need the 1 terabyte phone.
I have my photos. If I go all the way up, it's back in 2015 as well.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I keep photos. I'm a hoarder when it does come to photos.
You should put them on a hard disk.
And I don't delete WhatsApp chats. I like to keep receipts.
You have receipts?
I got receipts on everyone. Everyone.
I feel like on this show, roles are reversed.
Text messages, I got receipts on everyone.
What? Okay, why?
What else is saved to your... anything that has to do with things that can be saved?
Do you have media saved from WhatsApp on your phone?
Everything.
No, that's just not being smart.
It's smart because let's say one day I remember a picture someone sent me and I find it 99.9% of the time. And no one can ever lie to me because I said, hey, Mohammed, didn't you say that 4 years ago? Right? So I always keep receipts. You always got to have your arsenal intact.
Okay.
But we're looking at how Apple actually can have a 1 TB of storage on its high-end iPad Pro as well.
As well as the iPhone 13, which is a phone I deeply think Hani would need.
I'm gonna buy it.
Of course.
I don't care. I mean, listen, when it comes to Apple, if what I'm waiting for, Omnia, is the foldable Apple phone.
I'm waiting for the Apple phone.
I will make payments on it. I don't care if it's 10,000. I'll pay 1,000 dirhams every month.
I need to keep receipts of the times that you said you'd never get a foldable phone.
When it comes out of Apple, I will.
Well, okay. I'm waiting for the day when Apple creates a fully glass phone. So top to they've always been marketing that.
I drop and break.
Yeah, but they have to be smart about not making it very breakable. So.
I mean, they have to be smart about it, but at the same time, how smart is the user?
Well, good question.
Yeah, I mean, but
I'm excited for a day like this. But honestly, having a 1 terabyte storage in an iPhone 13, that would be amazing. And reports are saying that the iPhone 13 lineup would be featuring that option in January. So is Apple moving away from the whole September launch?
I hope so, because I need my Apple products a little bit earlier, because so far there's a lot of specs we don't know about, but
True.
the things that we do know about, or the rumors, is that, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please. Oh, I like it.
Okay.
Now, Touch ID might make a comeback, right? It's going to be an in-screen, under the screen type of feature.
That's because of COVID-19 and face masks.
Yes, and 120 hertz high refresh rate screen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, most of the computers have 60 refresh hertz frame.
So it's
your
gonna
laptop,
be more than
Omnia,
that.
your MacBook Pro that costs like 6,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
60 hertz of refresh rate.
Wow.
Right? So when you get that 120 Omnia, it's like you're flying through water. Flying through water.
So
It's
you're
going to
gonna
be
have-
super smooth.
You'll have an iPhone that's faster than a computer.
The refresh rate, yes,
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
thing. Now, once you go 120 and up, you can never go back. Because when I got my gaming computer, it's 120 hertz, the screen. Omnia.
Everything else feels
It's
slower.
like, it's like I'm just going like this the whole time. Really, it's something amazing that I believe that it should be implemented on all type of technology, because it just feels smoother and cleaner.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering if the 6G technology will be embedded in the iPhone 13. I think it's still too soon, and Apple has to explore all
Yeah.
the capabilities of 5G. But rumor has it that engineers are also working on the 6G technology, so that may just make it into the count. Let us know your thoughts. Are you excited about getting the brand new iPhone 13 if it did come with a 1 terabyte
I'm going to
storage?
be saving my money from now.
I want a challenge for all of our listeners. Look at how much memory have you used out of your iPhone or out of your Android, and send in your numbers at 4215 do it Salat, or sign into RDMs at Pulse 95 Radio. How much memory do you have left in your phone? I've used 116 gigabytes and I have 256 gigabytes
I got
of memory.
40 gigabytes left, but also let's put something in mind. Maybe with that 1 terabyte, the price is going to skyrocket.
Oh, 100%.
So let us know your guys' thoughts. Taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking. We're going to be telling you how to do something.
How do you tech? How do you tech?
Zoom fatigue, it is a real thing. I never thought we would say I'm fatigued from being too much on Zoom. No, from spending too much
Talking too much.
from talking too much on Zoom. And this has been the reality for many students, for
Yeah.
us working through Zoom, and for every other person who connects with their loved ones on Zoom.
Omnia, I have a problem.
What's your problem?
All right, I talk too much,
You talk too much.
and I don't have fatigue at all now. But
From Zoom?
from any, so Omnia, right?
Okay.
Like we're gonna get a little personal here.
Okay.
So obviously, I do the news.
Yeah.
That considers me talking. I do
Okay.
the show. That's me
Yes.
talking. And then I go home and I talk a little bit with my family.
Okay.
And then, as relaxation starts, I go get on my bed around 8 p.m. I open my phone and I join Clubhouse.
Oh my God.
And then I'll talk for another 4 hours. And I'll have conversations. So,
And you won't have any fatigue. Not Clubhouse fatigue, not talking fatigue.
and then after I have that Clubhouse 4-hour talk, because sometimes I'm in love with Clubhouse. I'm in love with it, Omnia. So
I don't
many
get
topics
people who love it, but
to
okay.
talk about. We were talking about a lot of things, and I giving my input, receiving input. Very informed. You learn a lot, right?
Okay.
So I have a couple of friends that I know who we go on Clubhouse together, and after we have that clubhouse meeting or talk about the topic,
You meet it after?
we'll jump on another clubhouse room
Of
and we'll
course.
discuss the points that we just talked about.
Of course.
So I don't know why I have no, alhamdulillah, mashallah, yani I have no fatigue. But people are getting Zoom fatigued.
And Zoom fatigue is a lot more than just talking fatigue, because it also includes people evaluating themselves a little too much and a little too critically. So we've talked about people actually visiting plastic surgeons a
Yes,
lot more often
yes.
after the pandemic, because, looking at yourself in that little box, you're judging all of your features. You're judging how you look like. FaceTime, you can open it very quickly. And you're judging a lot of your own personality as well as facial. Hani's now judging himself through FaceTime. But let's talk a little bit about how it's been also impacting people psychologically. Now, getting off a video call can make someone feel a little bit wiped out. Yes. I personally feel like that simply because you're having to focus on that mini box of the person that you're looking at, trying to make facial or eye contact. Have you ever tried to do that? Like looking at the webcam to make eye contact?
So, Omnia, I've had a couple of Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
And I believe for the first 2 times I had my camera on. After that, I just turned it off. Because you're just like, you're looking at yourself, and then it's so awkward when you don't talk, right? So you're just like,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, really? Right? And then you start to move your eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm a type of guy that I like to play with my beard a lot, right? So I'll just be like, looking at it, and then I'm reminded that, hey, you're on a Zoom call. It's professional stuff, brother.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, we've talked about it before on the show that some people, now look, the camera doesn't actually makes it seem that you could be, I don't want to say uglier, right?
It may accentuate features
Yeah.
even more because the lighting is not as good.
Yeah.
And also having to make that or maintain that eye contact for long periods of time through looking at a camera is difficult. Also, trying to make the other person understand that you are interested. So the nodding, the constantly humming, I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you, girl. So,
I hear you. That requires more effort.
Yeah, so also I think a lot of people have this problem is when they hear their own voice, they look at their own the picture
Photo.
or cameras or videos, and they start to kind of judge themselves like, hey, I actually look like that, I actually sound like that. And I mean, as someone who talks all the time and is a radio presenter, sometimes I don't like the way my voice sounds. And this is my profession.
Yeah.
So I believe that everyone is so self-critical about themselves, but when you're working from home and it's just it kind of, you're not getting enough sunlight, you look tired a little bit.
That's another thing. You're constantly sitting,
in a dark room.
Yeah, and in the past, meetings used to be, you get from one meeting room, you have to head in to your next meeting, whether it was in the same building or even in a different place. But now it's like you're hopping in and out of meetings and you have seconds in between, which can also overwhelm you mentally. Now, we've talked about the problem, how to fix it. That's a big concern for many people, especially if you're someone who constantly has meetings on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Researchers have been coming out with a few solutions for all of us. First off is to hide self-view. You do not need to see yourself when you're on Zoom.
But what if you're obsessed with yourself, Omnia?
Go ahead and see yourself
Right?
then, but don't criticize yourself and your looks based on a small box where you're getting to see how you look like through.
And obviously it would be a little bit distorted because you're not getting that full picture.
Yeah.
Now, I remember, Omnia, I don't know, we'll go way back real quick.
Okay.
You and I, when we first had our first Zoom meeting with the team on, I believe, around this time, March.
Yes.
Right? And I was looking at myself like, wow, I actually look like that? Am I that ugly? Right? So I mean, obviously everyone is self-critical about themselves, and a lot of researchers or explanations aren't actually specific to Zoom. They also apply to other video conferencing software too.
Microsoft Teams, Skype, you name it. They all implement the same.
But the researchers actually have used Zoom, the brand name, because it was recognizable and became a kind of a term or a verb during the pandemic, because we do know that Zoom kind of hit all the other video conferencing platforms out of the park.
Absolutely. And now another tip that many experts have been giving for people who suffer from Zoom fatigue is to shrink the Zoom window, which will make other people look a little bit smaller. Now, how you deal with that is basically making a third of the screen, instead of being maximized, be minimized, or you can even place your chair a little bit further away from the webcam. So this would actually make you a bit more comfortable when you're having the... If you're on our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, Hani is basically acting out every tip we give out.
Yes, because actually, Omnia, once you mentioned that, sometimes you feel like you're being monitored.
Yes.
Right? Like I want to scratch my neck a little bit. I don't feel comfortable because
you feel like you're too close to the person you're talking to physically, even though it's all virtual.
And one of the tips is, Omnia, is to turn off your camera and actually take a 5-minute audio-only break during a long meeting to give yourself a chance to move around. And some people are actually saying that you should set cultural norms with your coworkers, that it is A-okay to turn off the camera sometimes.
Yes, and that's a big concern for many people. You know, it's not embarrassing, it's not shameful to turn off your camera. You're allowed, especially because we're living in a day and age where we're constantly being asked to stay on. I feel very self-critical right now because of Hani.
Yes, because I'm giving her that Zoom type of thing, but in real life.
Another tip that experts have been giving is to basically spend half an hour playing around with your setup. You have to consider that your Zoom meeting is going to be your working space for that half hour or an hour of meeting. And I'm sure our filmmaker Gabby will agree with this. So before you start out the meeting, check the lighting. Please do not sit behind a light source.
Or you know, Omnia,
that is just the worst mistake you could do. If you want to look dim and have zero lighting on you, but also have a shadow, go ahead and sit right in front of a window.
Yeah. Now, Omnia, sometimes that's something I was kind of like annoyed about is that my work chair at home, the chair that I use when I'm working,
is also a gaming setup.
Yeah, but it also has a creak. I was like,
oh God.
So like when everyone is quiet, or not everyone is quiet, when people are talking, you hear in the background,
and it moves,
and you're seeing me moving, and it's like, man, it's kind of awkward right now because everyone's like, hey, honey, is that you? I'm like, no. So I mean,
make sure you don't sit on a squeaky chair.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I always want to remind you guys that everyone goes through the same things. Just not a lot of people are so vocal about it, and it's okay to be self-critical about yourself. But always remember, have confidence in the way you look, and don't kind of go by what the camera tells you.
Yes, and that's a big thing. A last tip for all those of you who do struggle with Zoom fatigue is to try out stacking your laptop on a stack of books. This will raise the height of the computer. It will make you look a lot more professional, and it will also give you a little bit of height, which is great for all the ladies out there, especially if you're a short girl.
Yeah.
You will very much appreciate this. Try out those tips. Let us know your thoughts and how have you been dealing with Zoom fatigue. Our text lines are open, 4215, do it to Salat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio.
Yes, I'm not a short girl, Omnia, but I do vouch for what you say. But ladies and gentlemen, we're all sweet, but sometimes we can get a little bit psycho. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. We are already locked and loaded to talk about nostalgia.
Yes, we're talking all about going back in time and revisiting the 40,000 photos that Hani has on his camera log. Can't comprehend that, but moving on. Very soon, with tech, the walls of your home could look more like the hallways of Hogwarts, thanks to a service that MyHeritage is offering with their new feature, the Deep Nostalgia. We all have photos. We all have print photos. Not sure about you, Hani, but all of my childhood photos are on film.
It's still funny. I'm still laughing at that
40,000?
40,000. I mean, that was a good wordplay, Omnia. You're catching on. But I mean, exactly. It could kind of look at those paintings that we see in the movies that they move around a little bit, like moving their eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Mona Lisa animation of her moving her eyes left and right, back and forth, giving it different expressions?
Yeah, that's an iconic one, and it's been used in a lot of movies when they do talk about or bring a reference to the Mona Lisa.
Yes, but now you can do that with your very own photos because an AI-enabled synthetic media tool has been allowing users to upload a photo of a person and see that individual's face animated by an algorithm. Every static image is now brought to life, and what an amazing feature this is, especially when you're talking about pictures of old people, you know, whether it was people that have passed away, you know, grandparents, if you want to real, have them alive, not really alive in front of you,
the
but
picture to be alive,
yes,
to see, because sometimes, we don't have film of these people, especially when we're talking about old pictures, just like Omnia said. Film, like we have pictures of Omnia when she was 4, but we don't have video of her moving around and in that certain set. So animating them would give it more life.
Absolutely. And this is why this technology has been gaining a lot of traction recently, because you can have heads move around, you can have eyes blinking, and you can have facial expressions changing in those static images. And this is the magic of deepfakes. We've heard deepfakes gaining lots of, criticism because they've been used in bad ways. They've been used to put words in the mouth of Barack Obama.
Yes.
And we've seen them being used to give a lot of humor to people, but now they're also giving us great presents for our loved ones.
Yes, I've seen actually a picture of Lebanese singer Fairuz and how it was used to deepfake her and make her a little bit animated, and I love it, ladies and gentlemen. Even Elvis Presley, we know the late Elvis Presley, who was they call him the king of rock and roll.
Yes.
Right? They had him, and they have even the Queen Elizabeth II, Louis Armstrong. There are so many people that they've used it on, and it looks amazing. It looks super real.
So realistic.
Yeah. And they're using AI.
Yeah, and if you were to see it, you would never think that this was a photo. With Queen Elizabeth II, she's moving her face, her hair is moving, her expressions are. I could never tell that this was a photo that turned into a video. Now, with Louis Armstrong, it's a little, weird, I may say.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with all of you, but at the end of the day, it's a great technology to remind us of famous historical people, to remind us of their quotes. You can even have these words come out of their mouths using these animated photos.
Now AI has also been used in ancient Rome to kind of I think those ancient Roman empires, the people that were ruling. Obviously, we have drawings of them, or we have statues of them, and AI has went to the extent of kind of making a face out of those statues.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, very interesting, and it's a topic that I love talking about, because the question comes next. What is coming for AI? What is coming for technology?
Yes, indeed.
What is in store?
Now, it is free for you to go ahead and animate your photos by using this tool. All you have to give over as information is your email and agree to the terms and conditions, and you'll be good to go. The website that is offering it is called MyHeritage, and the feature that you should be looking for is called Deep Nostalgia. Try it out. I'm going to personally try it out, and Hani should, with his 40,000 photos on the
yes
photo album.
I got some old pictures of Baba that I want to see animated.
That would be nice.
Yes, back when he was my age. But ladies and gentlemen, let's know your guys' thoughts. 4215 do a slot or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Today's show was very fun, very funny. I liked it. Let us know your guys' thoughts. But this does conclude Future Talk for today. We're going to be back same time, same place tomorrow at 2 p.m. only here on Pulse 95. But ladies and gentlemen, I like to call this the breakaway.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.